She had her eyes set on one Sophie, the trophy Cunningham. Sophie, get well soon. Hopefully the MRI later today shows nothing too serious. Would love to see you back on the court. Dirty Bria, of course, it had to be a dirty Bria. I would really hate to see ya in a dark alley. Dirty Bria Hartley back at it again. Bria Hartley dives for Sophie Cunningham's knees, doesn't even try to avoid the collision, doesn't try to move out the way. Bria Hartley sees Sophie's legs and says,
Sophie Cunningham is done for the season. Just like that, one collision with Bria Hartley in the Fever's playoff, hopes take a massive hit. But here's the bigger question. Why has the WNBA stayed completely silent about what happened? Fans want answers, and all we're getting is crickets from league leadership. This isn't just about an injury, it's about accountability, fairness, and who the league is really protecting. And now light shifts. Who steps up in her place? Chloe Bibby might just...
Probably got multiple Sophie Cunningham videos coming to you guys today because the Show Me Something podcast came out. It should be noted, my mom's side of the family, my mom is from Missouri, actually. What I said, I didn't think it was an ACL. MCL's better. That's like a 4 or 5 month recovery. I would assume she'll be plenty back by the time we get to May of next year. So anyway, Sophie Cunningham's podcast came out, and once again, look, Sophie, you dropping news every time you do a podcast. Can you go to twice a week?
Just be the unexpected hero. Let's break this all down. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
Did watch the play. Twitter says, a lot of people saying it was dirty. She was like smiling after, whatever. You can say what you want about this. It didn't look dirty to me, just like a bang bang play under the rim. We're like in this heated midst of a discussion throughout the season that like WNBA refs like need to be better. The things have gotten chippy. People kind of bully the Fever.
Yeah.
I've been waiting. Feelings?
No, I don't, because I know Bria and I'm actually really good friends with Bria, and I have been waiting to get on the pod and so we could talk about this because I did want to tweet it out. But
Sophie Cunningham lying flat on the hardwood, clutching her leg in obvious pain. That's the image Fever fans can't get out of their heads. The arena went silent, teammates rushed over, and everyone watching knew right away this wasn't just a minor bump. It came after that knee-to-knee collision with Bria Hartley, a split-second moment that ended up changing the Fever's entire season. One play, one body crash, and suddenly a vital piece of their playoff push was gone. This isn't just about...
Bria Hartley is a dirty player. There's no other way to slice this cake. There's no other way to explain what we've seen from Bria Hartley so far this season. She was getting defended from the right side, pushing her left. She decides to fall straight forward with a little bit of shoulder action, falling into Sophie Cunningham's knees, grabbing Angel Reese's ponytail. What are we, in preschool? Body checking Skylar Diggins in the open court. What are we doing? Clawing at Rebecca Allen, leaving marks on her shoulder.
Another rotation player. Cunningham mattered in every measurable way. At 6'1", she gave Indiana size at the wing, but also toughness. She wasn't just spacing the floor for Caitlin Clark, she gave Clark a battle partner. Look at how she'd contest rebounds, take charges, and keep matchups honest against bigger forwards. Coaches leaned on her to set the tone, which is something you can't just replace with numbers on a stat sheet. That's why the moment she went down, you could almost feel the air shift. The team knew its dynamics had just changed. The debate right now is wrapped around what really happened in that collision. Do you call it bad timing, just two players moving at full speed? Or was it careless, maybe even reckless, on Hartley's part? Fans online have been tearing this apart, watching the clips frame by frame, pointing to angles, legs, positioning. Half of them argue it was a basic accident, nothing more. The other half see Hartley's play as preventable, unnecessary contact at the worst possible time. And because Cunningham's season is done, it doesn't even matter technically whether there was intent. Perception has already taken over reality. What really fuels the anger isn't just the debate, it's the silence coming from the very top. The WNBA has dropped exactly 0 statements since the injury happened. No disciplinary review, no comment from the commissioner's office, not even a throwaway line about protecting players. To fans, that radio silence is almost louder than Hartley's collision. Supporters see it as the league shrugging its shoulders, while an important young player's leg injury sidelines her until next year. That silence creates an ugly perception that the league simply does not want to acknowledge fault or discuss whether players are properly protected. Players and fans rely on leadership not only to enforce rules, but to communicate. When none of that happens, people start filling the gaps with their own conclusions. Right now, the conclusion is that the league protects itself more than its athletes. That's a dangerous image to carry, especially for a league trying to grow its viewership and build trust with new fans following Caitlin Clark's arrival. Instead of rallying around a storyline of resilience, the dominant discussion is, why hasn't anyone in power said anything? Contrast that with how quickly the Fever themselves acted. Within days, Indiana waived Kira Lambert, a guard who hadn't cracked consistent rotation minutes, to sign experience at the perimeter. The front office moved fast, showing they weren't going to sit back with an empty roster spot. For a fan, that's what leadership looks like. Immediate, practical, no excuses. Meanwhile, the league's silence grows louder with every day that ticks by. And then there's Hartley herself. Bria Hartley is 36 years old, a seasoned vet who's bounced around the league. She's had a respectable career, played in big games, but she's not at a stage where she's dropping 20 points every night and carrying teams. She's more of a role player now, which is why the contrast hurts so much. A role player continues, while a critical piece like Cunningham, the energetic voice, the glue player for Indiana's rotation, loses an entire year. On paper, that doesn't balance out, and in fans' eyes, it looks even worse. Now all eyes are shifting to Chloe Bibby. Standing at 6 feet 2 inches, she has the size to slide into Cunningham's role and maybe even expand her game with extended minutes. Until now, she's been more of a question mark, someone fans wanted to see but rarely got the chance to evaluate. With Cunningham gone, that backup plan suddenly becomes the only plan. Social media already has "Rise Up Chloe Bibby" running as a rally cry, and fans want her to be the symbol of resilience, a reminder that the Fever aren't folding just because a key piece is missing. So here's where the season really pivots. Cunningham becomes the fallen hero, the player who sacrificed for the team but was left hanging by league silence. Her absence forces Indiana to load up a new storyline, one where Chloe Bibby might transform from a bench option into the heart of the fight. And beyond the court, the bigger question now burns hotter than ever. When will the WNBA finally step up with accountability, and will Bibby get the meaningful minutes fans are already demanding? Sophie Cunningham's season might be finished, but her story isn't. Instead, she becomes the living proof of what fans have been saying for weeks. The WNBA has a real problem when it refuses to protect its players. That silence from leadership speaks louder than any statement could, and now it's on the fans to push back. If the Fever can move quickly, so can we. Demand accountability. And don't just whisper it, shout it. Rise up, Chloe Bibby. If the league won't protect its stars, then fans must step in, because the credibility of this sport depends on it.